Robinson Crusoe, he was a sailor out on the ocean when a storm came round. Then he got shipwrecked close to an island, swam to that island, got there safe and sound.
I am Robinson Crusoe, and this is the story of how I was shipwrecked and cast away on a desert island. It is the story of a constant struggle for survival, and of my strange and wonderful adventures. It is the year 1659. I was a sailor, and our sailing ship was 6 nights out of sea. Suddenly, a terrible storm came up. The wind raged, and the ocean churned up into immense waves and poured it over the sides. Our ship was tossed about like a toy.
Sprung a leak. Man the pumps. No good. The water is coming in too fast. We can't pump it out. We're sinking. Prepare to abandon ship. All hands overboard. There's land ahoy. Make for it.
The lifeboats were lowered, and we rowed for the land in the distance. But all at once, a huge wave crashed over us and turned the lifeboat upside down. I went overboard into the sea. Suddenly, a huge wave crashed into me. I could feel myself sinking. And then, I lost consciousness. I woke up. I was on a beach. More dead than alive, but alive. I looked about for my shipmates, but I saw none. I looked out towards the sea and saw our ship stranded on a sandbar, laying on its side. And here I was, alone. I had no clothes except the tatters on my back. I had no food, nor drink, The night was coming fast. I found a stream with fresh water and some nuts to chew. Then I climbed a tree to protect myself from the night. I fall. And weary with the day's events, I fell asleep. I woke at daylight. The weather was cleared, but what surprised me most was that during the night, my ship had lifted off the sandbar by the water and had been driven just a mile. It seemed to be standing upright, and I thought there might still be things aboard her for me to use. But how was I to get out to her? I climbed down from the tree and looked about again. And 2 miles down the beach was one of those lifeboats which had been washed up on the shore. I walked to it and took it out to where the ship lay. I climbed aboard my ship and searched her. She was surprisingly dry, and soon I found that all her food and drink were dry and untouched by the seawater. I went to the bread room and filled my pockets with bread and biscuits. I ate my fill and washed it down with rum. And soon I could feel my strength returning, enough to do the task I had set for myself. I found 2 or 3 large planks of wood and a spare mast, and tossed them overboard into the water. I found rope and went back into the water and lashed the planks together. I had a raft, strong enough to bear any reasonable weight. I climbed back aboard the ship and searched some more. I found some wood and lots of food: bread, rice, cheese, and some corn we had stored to feed chickens we had brought to sea with us. Alas, the chickens had perished, but some of the corn remained. And as for drink, I found some wine and rum. What else? It was a carpenter's chest and tools. This too I lowered down onto the raft. The next concern was my ammunition and pistols to protect myself in case there were any wild animals on land. I found several small shooting pieces, gunpowder, and some rusty swords. By this time, my raft was full, and with my new cargo on it, I guided it over the water back to shore. Once again on land, my next work was to view my new countryside, to seek a proper place for my dwelling, and to secure the goods I had taken from the ship. For I knew not where I was, whether it was a continent or an island, whether it was inhabited or empty, of any human beings, whether or not there was danger from wild beasts. I saw a hill nearby which seemed to afford a good view, and, with pistols on my side, climbed to its top. There I saw my fate. Indeed, I was on an island surrounded in every direction by sea. There was no land in sight except far, far to the west, what appeared to be two small islands. I could see also that my own island was uninhabited. By this time, evening was closing in, and once again I fell asleep. The next day I awoke and breakfasted. I realized that my ship, which had been badly damaged by the storm, might soon break apart entirely. So I resolved to return to the ship and take off everything I could that would be useful to me. And so I did.
Robinson Crusoe, he was a sailor out on the ocean when a storm came round. Then he got shipwrecked close to an island, swam to that island, got there safe and sound.
This time I found hammers and nails, hatchets, and grindstones for sharpening them, muskets and powders, clothes and bedding. I loaded these on my raft and returned to shore. I had found a piece of sails, and from this I made a small tent. And so I passed the night in greater comfort than I had the first night on the island. In all, I returned to the ship 11 more times over the next 2 weeks. And little by little, I removed all that there was valuable aboard. The 12th time, I discovered a chest of gold. I couldn't help laughing to myself. Money, I said. What good are you to me here? One good knife is worth more to me than a chest of gold. But I packed it anyway and returned to shore. As I landed safely again, I could hear the wind rise out at sea. A fresh gale blew and kept blowing all night. The next morning, when I looked out into the ocean, the ship was no more to be seen.